Welcome back, everybody. This is Lars, and today I want to talk about another really scary subject. Um, Antibiotics, probably the biggest advance in medical technology that humans have ever seen. Probably the biggest advance, at least since surgeons started washing their hands. And I'm not talking about like disinfecting them with alcohol. I'm talking just washing them between patients, which was actually quite hard to get them to do for some reason. Yeah. So antibiotics, it's basically a type of mold, more or less a type of mold. That is a simplification, of course, but and like penicillin was the first one. We still use that, but not as much. There's a lot of the types of antibiotics that are now grown in labs and just much more efficient. So, what's the problem with antibiotics? Well, thing is, if the antibiotics aren't able to kill off every last bacteria, and you or it often isn't because honestly, evolution is a tricky thing. It works basically in the way that everything that doesn't survive something is selected against. Basically, all the traits of those either like individuals or like individual bacteria that don't survive will, well, of course, not survive, not reproduce. The ones who do, who actually can survive that antibiotic treatment, they will they will keep going. They will be resistant to that type of antibiotic. And there are a lot of bacteria out there that are like resistant against some forms of antibiotics. We do have multiple forms. Some of them are now starting to get multiple resistances. So basically, they're resistant to multiple types of antibiotics, which is pretty scary as we have a limited amount of them and we don't know how long we're able to actually get more. We could keep like inventing more of them for a while, but at some point we might end up with bacteria that causes lethal infections in the human body and is actually we're not able to treat it with any known type of antibiotic. For example, tuberculosis is one of those types of diseases or infections. Really, it's a bacterial infection. It is very much lethal. We do have vaccines and stuff against it, but those vaccines aren't 100% foolproof, and not everybody can actually have them. You can't give them to everybody because some people actually do react badly. That's why you take that test where they scratch your arm first just to check for allergies. And some people will react to that. That's also the same test that you use to check if somebody has the stuff, which is an interesting thing, really. Basically, it means that your body has antibodies against it. And a lot of the people with vaccines or who can't take the vaccine would be very sick if that type of bacteria actually ended up being spread in the population again. Tuberculosis was a big killer 100 years ago, even. Like way up to like close to the Second World War. That was a very lethal disease, and it's on its way back. And it seems it has started developing a resistance against antibiotics, which is which is quite scary because that means that even though like you can be vaccinated against it and that will help, of course, but there will always be mutations of the stuff that you won't be able to treat. Uh, so why is this happening? It's actually quite easy. Your body will develop a resistance against antibiotics. It will start breaking the stuff down, which means that when you try to treat a disease or an infection with the stuff, it won't work as well, which means that some of the stuff will survive and keep spreading. And when those kinds of bacteria then get into another body that has developed tolerance for another type of antibiotics, and the treatment doesn't work as well there as well, then you can get multi-resistant bacteria, which would cause, it might cause non-lethal or a lethal infection. The reason why this is happening is that people are taking so many or so much antibiotics for like bullshit. Seriously, you if you get like an upper lung infection kind of thing, like the bronchia or something, whatever, it's up here, right? It's a pretty bad cough. It's really uncomfortable. It might actually keep you from going to work for a week or so, maybe 2 even. So a lot of people then decide, well, I really should get back to work. I should really get well. This is uncomfortable. This is not a lethal thing. It is not really a dangerous thing until it starts spreading down into the lungs proper. And when that happens, you'll know way long time before it actually becomes really dangerous. And then maybe you should take antibiotics just to stop or just to prevent it from becoming really dangerous. But honestly, if you are taking antibiotics for something that's really not that dangerous, it's just inconvenient. You just take antibiotics to get, well, you want to get well just quicker. You don't want to be sick for that long, so you take antibiotics to speed up the process. You are making the situation worse. That is the thing, both for yourself but for everybody else, because without antibiotics there's a lot of stuff that used to be lethal, like getting a splinter in your finger can actually end up you like getting an infection. You can get like what is it called, when you basically get an infected bloodstream. It is really bad and it could kill you. Not something that would kill people that often, but it used to actually kill people. Not often, but sometimes it did kill people. That stuff's not lethal anymore, at least not in the West. So you get a splinter, you start getting sick, you take some antibiotics, and you're fine. And that's a good thing. You should take antibiotics because that is freaking dangerous. But at this point, we're taking antibiotics left and right. We are actually pumping cattle full of antibiotics to make them grow faster, and we fill them up with a lot of hormones just to speed up the process and make your burger cheaper. And because the antibiotics kind of stay in the meat, you will get like a small amount of that stuff passed down into your system. If you eat a lot of it, you will actually get a pretty decent dose, and that will actually keep you healthier, kinda, for a while. But the fact that everybody gets some antibiotics all the time, now this about cattle, that's not true all around the world. It's banned in a lot of countries. It's okay in the US, but like the the authorities that actually control the quality of the meat in the U.S. They're basically so corrupt. It's not even funny. Yeah. So the next time you get like a minor infection, it might hurt for a while. You might get sick for a while, but you won't die from that infection. Or probably not die from that infection. It's not that dangerous. So don't take antibiotics just because it makes everything more convenient, please. You're basically helping the process and just fucking up the world. We don't have an alternative, and who knows if we will ever get one. So, yeah, we need antibiotics. Please, just be careful. And, yeah, I'll see you guys next time.